Alright, so I want to make a video about, I guess, pros and cons and tips and tricks and all that fun shit for being a vendor at a convention. Being a vendor or artist alley or something where you have to like set up a table or booth area. Good tips is pack everything. Everything you want to sell, just pack it all because you don't know if you are going to sell any of it, all of it, or some of it. You just don't know because you don't fucking know. Because some shows, depending on the time of year, the location, or whatever not, you'll end up selling a lot of one thing, not so much another thing, but then a couple of months later, you're like, fuck, I ran out of that, just, of course, be prepared would be the main thing. When you're contacted by the person who does the vendor tables or whatever not, make sure to save that in your email contacts because you might not ever need to contact the person, or you might need to constantly contact the person. And really all depending on whatever type of convention it is. Some of them get back to you really quickly, some of them take a little bit longer, and some of them don't ever get back to you. Just say, I'm not gonna talk shit, but I've had some cons, I'm not gonna go back to doing tables, because they took forever, nearly a week before the convention day, to contact me back. Alright, that was nice. But the good cons, like Walker Soccer Con that I just finished, those are great. Robin, that lady, she gets back to you ASAP, and I like that. It's kind of Captain Obvious, but abide by the goddamn rules. It seems kind of dumb, but please fucking do that. So, some people are like, yeah, some of my friends are showing up, and I'm doing the table. Yeah, I'm gonna have my friends sit there for a bit while I walk around. Depending on what kind of convention you're doing, sometimes that's fine, because at least there's like someone at the table, they're not gonna say anything. If they notice it's a regular general admission person behind the table rather than a vendor one, they're gonna be a little bit upset about it. And sometimes you might get fined, or you might just get like a little strong talking to about it. But again, abide by the rules. Most conventions, when you're setting up, there are people there to help you. So if you need like a dolly or something, some conventions they have that and they're willing to help you with it. Sometimes they have extra people to help you bring whatever you need if you're by yourself or just need an extra set of hands. Other conventions, it's small. It's like, nah, you're on your own because I got one dude checking the door. The good majority of them that I've gone to are very much willing to help. If something is wrong at your table or booth, don't be afraid to complain. And I'm not saying like just something random like, oh, there's not enough light over here, I should be allowed to get some lights. Not that kind of shit. Like what happened to me at Walker Soccer. Random corn kernels started raining down from the fucking, ceiling. And me and our lovely Maze Runner people decided to complain. Immediately got security people come up, staff came up, and then someone came over to scissor lift and cleaned up whatever shit so we weren't getting, corn kernels on us. Because which leads to another thing, some convention centers are quite large, like that one, where sometimes birds live in it. So one of my products, by the end of the weekend, once I was packing up, realized a bird shat on it. It was an easy cleanup, but it could have been devastating if, say, I've had, like, food open. Which brings me to about food. Now, a lot of the conventions do say things about, like, don't bring, outside food, whatever not. Obviously, again, abide by the rules. But, if you have a little bag lunch in your bag, that's okay. They're pretty much saying, like, don't walk in with some fucking McDonald's and just munching about kind of stuff. So usually what I do for a table is I always have a bottle of water, come in the morning, I always have my coffee, and maybe an energy drink, all depending how long the day is going to be. Other than that, it's usually just some kind of like, again, just water and juice. If you want to pack a sandwich, some other stuff, obviously go ahead. Make sure you are constantly hydrated at your table because there's a lot of talking that happens. Because, of course, you want to interact and, get a good dialogue with people. And just in general, you're just standing there all day, and maybe sitting down. You get kind of bored. You want to stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. If you want to bring food, make sure not to bring food that could possibly be on the smellier side. You don't want to bring some food that ends up having like a heavy like garlic scent or something. Just you don't want to disturb your, like neighbors or even other people who are trying to look at your artwork or whatever not. Because sometimes it might be like, oh damn, what is that, pizza? But you don't want to be like, oh damn, what the fuck you eating shit, man? And then they don't, bother with your table. And they'll be like, yo, don't go to that table, the table smells like shit. And don't forget to like, stretch out, stretch out when you're there. Sometimes, there are some people who spend a lot of their time at their table or booths just sitting down. Some are standing the whole time. I kind of do a little bit of both. I stand most of the time anyway. I normally work retail anyway, so I do stand, so I'm used to it. Others, they sit a lot, but remember to stand up, stretch out a bit. Just when you get, like, I don't know, someone talking to you, you don't go grab something, you're like, yeah, let me just grab that. Oh, that shit. Because you've been, like, stuck in, like, a robotic position all the time. The buddy system is the best thing. So if you're doing a table or booth, and it's just, it's all, let's say, your work, have a friend or a relative or someone that is willing to help you be with you at the table, just so at any time, you can go to the bathroom. If you forgot something in your hotel room, the car, or even something they can make a quick run to, like, a convenience store or something, they got it, One of the days, I forgot my wallet. My friend Paul immediately runs back to the room, grabs it for me, and we're good. There's also times where, like, your buddy could be at the table or booth, and you could just walk around, the dealer's room, just see what other people have. Again, like, talk to people, create a dialogue, have a good time, that kind of shit. Now, I know we all want, especially as artists, when we do these tables, to just be ringing in the dough. Believe me, we all want to make money off our art. That's why we kind of do it in the first place. But you also have to set realistic goals for yourself. Most of the time, my goal is to however much my table/booth costs, I just want to make that money back. Obviously, if I make more than that back, then of course that's great. So let's say, again, depending on what kind of conventions, on average I've noticed tables, booths, usually are at least a starting point at least 200. So if you make back 200, then you're good. You broke even. If you make more, obviously that's great. Just set a small goal. Even if, even if it's like your first year doing this, and yeah, like you and your friends, you shelled out the $200, and you each only made $20. But that's something. You made something. And don't get down on yourself if you didn't make any money. A lot of this is obviously learning experience, First year my friends and I ever did a table. It was 3 of us crammed into a table. It's like 3 different artists of random art on one table. We had to, like, let people know, like, we had to put, like, a tape line on our table to, like, divide that this is 3 artists. We're all sitting in our little, like, literally sitting this close like this, Glee's right here, I'm here, Mo's there, and we're just kind of like, yay, we're the artists here, Other people have obviously been doing it a lot longer, they have a better setup, and we're just kind of like scrunched there, little dinky, like, hand-drawn banner, because why not? But it was a learning experience, You learn next time, like, oh, I see how that person did a setup. I could probably, that's a good idea. I want to do something like that. We all ended up later getting our own banners. I ended up getting later a bigger banner, You end up figuring that stuff out. You end up going like, oh, I can makeshift a banner, stand, or I could just buy one, or like, hey, this is how I'm going to display my prints. This is how I'm going to display my art. Again, it's all learning experience, and you just figure it out as you go. Just like anything, no one goes into this shit like, got it, done, scored better than everyone, that kind of stuff. Like, some people have really simple displays, which all it is just their table, they'll have a portfolio book out, and a couple of prints on the side. Maybe like a small little banner actually on the table. Other people, they go a little crazy, and they have a huge thing behind them and next to them, blah, 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 blah. Just do you. Just do whatever suits your work and what you do. Don't try to, like, make a bigger display just so don't try to just, like, try to one-up. Don't make a bigger display just because other people have smaller displays, just so you can really stand out like that. It's not all about that, because you can have a huge display, and people be like, yo, look at that display, but they still don't give a fuck about your art or what you do. So just do what suits you. Do you boo-boo. Also, if you want to start small and go big, or just go big or go home, or just kind of do whatever, kind of like me, just go right ahead. You can start doing, like, small, if you want to do small, like, craft shows, and then do little trade shows, and then do comic conventions, and go from there. That's fine. You can immediately go to comic conventions like I did, start doing tables and other things, and just kind of go from it. Just do whatever. Just choose a convention that suits you, suits your work, and whatever you do, and just go for it, and just have fun. And that's the main thing with a lot of this stuff, is to have fun. Meet new people, all that stuff. Like, create new friendship. Don't be afraid to be disappointed. Because I've had, because we've all had people who look at your stuff on your table, they pick it up, like, this is great, I love it, oh my god, yada yada, and then you're just kind of like, oh, they're gonna buy something, You're like, oh, this is great stuff. thank you, and they walk away. Because you know what? It might be that at the time they don't have enough money, or, you know, they're one of the people that they think about it, you know. Some people it's later on, especially like for me, I tell people I have an Etsy. The moment you say that keyword Etsy, they're like, oh shit, awesome, because it's, you know, I sell this and then some. They grab your card. Now here's another piece of advice that's a little bit on the harsh side, but in all honesty, don't be a dick. And that goes for everyone. Just don't be a dick. Don't be a dick to your neighbors, especially because they're right next to you. And if you leave before them, they might fuck your shit up. I'm just saying, not that I've ever done it, not that anyone's ever done it to me. I'm just saying, you don't know who the fuck you're messing with. Just being honest. Don't be a dick as a consumer going and then bitching about someone's artwork. If it's not as good as something you like, don't tell them they suck. What if they're just beginning? What if they have a disability you didn't know, and that's actually amazing? Who fucking knows? Like, and again, that says a lot coming from me, where I get told I should go kill myself all the time, because not a lot of people are very okay with fetuses. But yeah, just a small little story. The first time, Glee, Moyo, and I, the three of us, when we did that table, we're all scrunched together, we had a great neighbor on one side, and the other side we had a horrible neighbor, because the person was very egotistical, and some artist alleys are really cramped. So even if you have all your bags, well, like, you know, where your stuff came in, people, you know, there might be a little bit of like, you know, might be a little bit extra, you know, claustrophobic in there. And I remember all I did was when I was walking through, I just said, hey guys, can you move this thing a little bit further in? And I wasn't the only one. We weren't the only three that were walking around a lot. Other people, they tend to leave their tables on. It happens. Like I said, the buddy system. I just asked them kindly, hey, it's okay if you move whatever, like, thing they had just a little bit closer to their table, because it was, like, pushed out where, like, the people had tables behind them. It was getting in their way. And don't do that. Don't get in other people's way like that, because we all have our own space, in all honesty. I just kindly asked, hey, if you could just move this in, it'll just, you know, it won't create such traffic, da-da-da, because it was very obvious that people kept kicking in and, you know, tripping over it, because, again, it was in the way. I told them, hey, blah, blah. And all I got was just a look. All I got was just a look up and down, and now it's all I got. You know, that was the early days. I just shut up and let it go. I don't know about the person I am now. I think if I got that look, it would just been one of those, I'm going to need to take a walk. I would have to have Paul talk to them, because it just, stuff doesn't end well with Mama when you piss her off. So yeah, in all honesty, just be nice to one another, have a good time, enjoy it. Again, as much as we all expect to make like a shit ton of money when we go there, we all have to realize sometimes you have to be a little more realistic about things. Alright, so I put this in the bank for my phone bill, the electric bill, or my loans. Oh wait, do I have anything to eat tonight? Shit. Hopefully any of that made any sense, and see you guys at the next con. Oh, and I forgot. Don't forget to sign up for the state tax thingy. Seriously, it's a serious shit, and they'll randomly come up to you asking about that. Do it. Because if you evade taxes, you know what happened to Wesley Snipes. So follow those rules.